What's up, everybody? We're going to let a few people get in here. Hello, hello, hello. All right, we are live for the Performance Medicine Show. Our live Q&A we do every single Tuesday night, 7 to 8. D. Lynn, thank you so much for sharing over on YouTube. Thank you, thank you. We're going to let some people get in here, then we'll get the show started. Thank you in advance for hanging out with us. Let's see. I think we're live on Instagram as well. We should be live on Instagram. Hello, Betsy. Hello, A. Evans. What's up? Great to see you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out. We're going to be answering health and wellness questions tonight. We'll be here for the next hour or so. Pumped to hang out with everybody. If you're new, let me know. Let me know where you're from. I'm over in Fountain City right now, a little neighborhood in Knoxville. Let's see here. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to get Doc in here shortly, guys. If you're with us live, let me know who you are and if you're a new listener or not. If you're a regular like D-Lynn is, D-Lynn, thank you so much. Love to see everybody each and every week talking health and wellness. Bianca, what's going on, Bianca? Great to see you. Hope you're doing well over in Nashville. Nicole from Fall Branch. Love Fall Branch. Thank you, Nicole. Hello, everybody. Performance Medicine Show, live Q&A tonight. Man, I'm pumped for tonight. We're going to have a great show. We got a couple of great questions that came in throughout the week. And if you guys have a question, best way to ask is putting it in the comments. Also got an eye on my email as well. If you guys would rather send in a question via email, it's ben@performancemedicine.net. I'll be sure to be looking. But we'll have a great night tonight. I'm pumped. We'll let a few people come in. We'll get Doc in here shortly. I believe we're live on LinkedIn as well, YouTube, Instagram. Cool. All right, Chocolate Thunder, what's up? Great to see you over on Instagram. Thank you. If you guys have a question, you can go ahead and put it in the comments. As you know, every Tuesday we put out our videos for the week on YouTube. And this one was super fun. This episode of Common Sense MD was actually a clip from this show a few weeks back. We had a wonderful question around, can you take too many vitamins? And Doc gives his answer in this video. If you have not watched it, please do. It's short, to the point, about 4-minute episode, super cool. And thank you guys for asking these questions. We'll be answering those very questions tonight. I'm excited about this. And on the Skin podcast this week with our esthetician in the Knoxville office, Jasmine Allman, talks with Tempest Seagraves, another licensed esthetician, about the Buccal facial massage. If you guys have not heard of this and you're into aesthetics and skincare, then you're under a rock because in 2023, 2024, it has been just all over the place. So Jasmine talks with Tempest about what it is and how it can help you. Super cool. Thank you to Jasmine for doing this with Tempest. Love this Skin podcast. If you guys have not checked that out, please do. I see some people are coming in. Thank you guys. Thank y'all. I see Terry's in here, Stan's in here, Sandy. Sandy, we're going to teach you how to take methylene blue tonight. I've been taking it not daily. I need to. I actually took it on Sunday. I need to take that every day. Barbara, what's going on? Great to see you. But we'll teach you how to do methylene blue tonight. Kimmy A. Smith, what's up over on Instagram? Thank you for hanging out. Kathy, cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is that the yes? The defense fund? Is that what we're talking about, Kathy? Did an interview recently on there. Cherry, what's up? Linda, what's up? Huge shout out to my mom. She did a phenomenal job today. We Got all the videos out on time. Yes, I know. Keep the methylene blue from the pets. That's a disaster. On the let's see here on Explain This. We had a little special version of Explain This. We talked with registered dietitian nutritionist Alex Gardner, who is kind of specializes in fertility and nutrition. Does I believe fertility postpartum as well as pregnancy. So it was super interesting and wonderful to talk to Alex. She is phenomenal. Really talks about these different stages of childbirth and different nutrition tips throughout the way. Really interesting around the postpartum part, how she works with patients there. Super informative. A huge shout out to Alex Gardner. She's actually putting out some amazing content also on social media. You can, I believe it's just Alex Gardner. I'll figure that out and we'll put it in the chat. But man, she was incredible. Thank you, Alex, for being on that episode of Explain This, talking about fertility nutrition. Let's see, Doc is almost ready. I see Shield Nutraceuticals is in the building. My brother Steve. Shout out to Digest Shield tonight, guys. I have not eaten tonight. I'm gonna eat at around 8:30, which means I'm gonna be taking my Digest Shield right after this show. If anyone here is taking Digest Shield, 30 minutes prior to your two biggest meals is the best way to do it. Shout out to Digest Shield and Steve and Shield Nutraceuticals and all the good things they're doing over there. Yes, Kathy, Children's Health Defense. That's right. Did you see the interview on their website? I need to figure out more things to do with that. That was such a great interview. Really, really informative. Carter, what's going on? Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you for being here as always. If you've communicated with us via Facebook or any of our socials, you're communicating with Carter. So thank you, Carter, for being here tonight. Lisa, thank you. We love you. Thank you so much. Sandy, we love Digest Shield too. It is the absolute best. Like I said, I'm going to be taking it here in about an hour. Is Doc ready to roll? Cool. What's going on, man?
I just took my Digest Shield as well. I just heard you talking about it.
Yeah,
I don't take mine 30 minutes before my meal because I can't time it that well. I just take it right before my meal, and it seems to work great. I love it.
I tell you what, one thing I'll also do is, this weekend I ate horribly and I took it before bed actually. I just felt bloated and not great. But I took it before bed and the bloating went away. So I'm with you. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes before. So if you miss that timing, like it's easy to do, life gets in the way.
I had two patients today who I asked them how their gut was and if they took a probiotic, and both of them said yes, they took a probiotic through their yogurt that they ate, and I had to convince them that, that's not enough, that you really need Digest Shield, which covers everything, but you're just not going to get enough of the probiotics in a yogurt. And usually the yogurt's going to have too much sugar anyway. So you can't rely on yogurt to get your enough probiotics, prebiotics, and all the other stuff you need. So,
you know what? It's actually an interesting point. I think that's kind of a common thing with supplements and vitamins. Man, I've heard so often people thinking they're getting their probiotics from something like Greek yogurt or whatever. And same thing with vitamin C through, Emergency, which is still good. But you're not quite going to get enough. And I think one argument you make really well in a lot of your content is you need the right amounts and you need the right forms of it. So that's interesting about the yogurt thing. I've heard that too.
I heard you talking about that interview I did with the Children's Health Defense, and I'm not sure you can pull it up if you look that up, but I'm not sure we can play it through a media like this because it'll probably get pulled because
Don't say
it's
why.
well, it's just, but I will say this: I was pretty honest with
Yeah.
what I thought happened, and so yeah. So it's, if you want to listen to it, you could probably pull it up through the Children's Health Defense Fund.
Shout out to Children's Health Defense. That was such a great organization. And Kathy, let us know, was Doc honest in that interview? What's your what was your perception? I see Kathy watched the interview. So Kathy knows. There we go. Cool. Thank you, Kathy, so much. Let's see here, guys. We're taking questions tonight. I see Roel's in the building. What's up, Roel? Great to see you as always. If you guys got a question for Doc, we're taking them. Here's what Kathy said.
Yeah, I kind of did.
All right, guys, we're taking questions. If you're over on Instagram, I see Tanya's over here. Sarah, what's up? We are taking questions in the comments. So if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the comments. We'll get to everyone tonight. Thanks. Thank you, Carter. Exactly. Doc, you about ready, man?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we're going to jump into some questions. Let's see here. Question about lowering and stabilizing blood pressure. Which supplements do you like for lowering and stabilizing blood pressure? And Doc, before you get to that, I'm going to give you some context. Blood pressure seems to jump around a lot from being lower most of the time, 120 to 140, to much higher at the doctor's or dentist's office at 160 or 180. Goes on to say, as long as it does return to normal, is it okay, or should it not be having those high spikes? I'll let you talk to that because I know this listener is not the only person, because you guys are looking at one whose blood pressure.
Yeah,
goes
really,
up.
there's really no accurate blood pressure medicine at any one point in time. Really, to be accurate, you'd have to do a 24-hour blood pressure monitor, and they're hard to get a hold of, and because just a spot blood pressure doesn't mean a ton. And sure, it's going to be up at different times. It's going to jump around all the time. Everybody's does. And when you're nervous, it's definitely going to be higher. So I encourage everybody. I told a patient today this, get your own monitor and check it at your house if there's some family history of it, or it's been noted to be high at your doctor's office or at a pharmacy or wherever you check it. There's no doubt that you shouldn't base or commit yourself to a blood pressure medicine based on one or two, borderline high numbers at your doctor's office. So a lot of times I'll initially get one. I'll take it after we've already finished the visit, and it's usually a lot lower. So get yourself your own monitor. So that's not unusual at all. But you do have to watch it because, some people's blood pressure, it is a risk factor. It's a major risk factor for heart disease and stroke. So you need to know what it is. And unfortunately, we can't get 24-hour blood pressure monitors done. We just can't do it. So frequent checking of it when you're at home, relaxed. And certainly if it comes down most of the time, then that's normal. But some supplements that I like are berberine, which I talk about berberine all the time. It's great for cholesterol. It's great for weight loss. It's great for blood pressure, and lowers your blood sugars. It's probably as effective as metformin without the GI side effects. Remember to get the dihydroberberine, though. It's 5 times more potent with virtually no side effects. And you can use a lot lower dose of it. But I like hawthorn. I like garlic pills. Those are probably my favorite ones. Sometimes I use the stress adrenal adaptogens if it seems like you're stressed out all the time. You can check your cortisol curve to look at that. But those are probably my favorite. I'll probably have left 1 or 2 out. you know, I told a guy today that he needs to be taking daily Cialis for many reasons. One is blood pressure lowering
Mm.
effect because it releases nitric oxide, and so does L-citrulline, L-arginine. But I like exercise too. I mean, exercise reduces your blood pressure. A good night's sleep helps. Not having sleep apnea or treating sleep apnea will help. Sleep apnea is one of the major causes of hypertension. I don't, if I have to use a medication, which I frequently do on people, I don't like lisinopril. I took somebody off of that today. I just think there's way better things than lisinopril for several reasons. But so I hope that helps you. But yeah, get your own blood pressure monitor.
It's a great question, and real quick, one, I want to give a shout out to Margot, our PA in the Fountain City office, which is where I'm at. And Margot did just such a fantastic job this past weekend at the Women's Health. Gosh, help me, Margot. Women's Health. It's not Women's Health Initiative because that's not what it is. Gosh, it was a event in Knoxville and hosted by Crunchy Mama. I hope some of you guys are here. It was such a fun. I saw it through pictures and we had a whole bunch of our team was there. But Margot did fantastic. Margot, let me know.
That's what I heard. I heard she blew it out, and it was just a wonderful conference. I missed it. I was supposed to go, but couldn't go at the last minute. But Jenny went and said it was fantastic. And Robin and Margot blew it out and did such a good job. It was an impressive. I've looked at the syllabus and I got the book, and it was an impressive assortment of women. I mean, it was really impressive.
It was super cool, Margot. Thank you. The Wellness Innovation Summit. I think they're going to be doing this every year. It was just this past weekend, and Margot just did an absolute job. I believe your topic was hormones, thyroid, functional medicine, which is what we're all about. So Margot, thank you so much. I see Andy's question. I see Lisa's question. Thank you. We'll get to Johnny's here real quick, just because one, we have our online vitamin shop, which maybe is where you got it, Johnny. Dr. Rogers, I bought your super vitamin and it tends to make me nauseated. When is best time to take these? And is there a time in the evening that is too late to take them so it doesn't interfere with sleep? I love this. This is one of the big ambitions of this show, is to ask some of these specific questions around the things that we talk about all the time. Okay, cool, Johnny. Cool. In the Kingsport office. So Doc, real quick, because I know you get this quite a bit with the super because it's potent. It's a very potent multivitamin. Go ahead and help Johnny out.
Yeah, it's not too unusual. Number one, you have to take it with food because it has zinc in it. Zinc seems to be the thing that really gets some people nauseated out of any mineral is zinc. So number one, do not take it on an empty stomach. It is loaded. Some people even get a little nauseated with B vitamins. But I find that it's loaded. And again, you couldn't get all that stuff you have in it in one pill. So it's 3 different smaller capsules. So what I do personally, because I'm sensitive to those things too, especially zinc. If I took even one of my supers out of the 3 on an empty stomach, I would have a little nausea with it. So take it with food, especially a fatty food, because remember there's fat soluble vitamins in there as well. But what I do, I take, I eat 2 meals a day at lunch and supper. So I usually take 2 with lunch and 1 with supper, whichever really is the biggest meal of the day. And you could take it at night, but take it with a little something to eat. So split it up is the main thing, because it's a very potent multivitamin. You're going to get your money's worth out of that vitamin, but it's pure. It has no fillers in it. So try that and see. And if you can't take them, we'll take them back from you, believe me. But look at the ingredients and how many milligrams you're getting of that. And, hopefully you're not having a lot of other stomach problems. If you are, maybe, take a digest shield as well. But spread them out and take them with food, especially a fatty meal.
And that's what I wanted you to hear, Johnny, is Doc's strategy because he tends to get a little nauseous with the zinc as well. So it's two with the biggest meal and then one at another meal that kind of spreads out the three. So Johnny, I hope that helps, man. Okay, real quick with this blood pressure question over email, I just got this and I want to help this this listener out. And I'm looking at around the berberine max. They're interested in that, and it's there's a couple blood pressure. Okay, the question is, I'm very interested in taking berberine. I take blood pressure medicine and blood thinner. What are the adverse effects in taking these all together? So the question's around berberine plus blood pressure medication and blood thinner. You got any thoughts on that, Doc?
Yeah, if you're on blood pressure medications, certainly there's no contraindication to berberine, but just watch your blood pressure because it does work. It'll lower your blood pressure somewhat, but usually not to a point where it's going to be anywhat dangerous. But see how you're feeling. If you get up suddenly and you feel dizzy, you're getting orthostatic hypotension. So measure your blood pressure. Like I say, keep a cuff at home and measure it when you're sitting and then standing up and see if it drops. And if it does, we may need to lower your blood pressure medicine, or even better, maybe you'd be able to get off of it. If you don't need it anyway, if you can take supplements, you'd much rather do that than take, the other prescription blood pressure medicines that have way more side effects. But now the berberine also with blood thinners, you're probably not taking Coumadin. If you are taking Coumadin, there's not contraindicated to any blood thinner. But if you're taking Coumadin, just watch your pro times. With Coumadin's the one we don't use much anymore, unless you have a mechanical heart valve. But another word for it's warfarin. It's actually rat poison, but some people have to take it. It used to be the only one we really had orally. But so if you're on that, then watch your pro times. But with anything you add, if you're on a blood thinner, just kind of see if you start bruising easier or having problems like that. But it's not contraindicated with something like Eliquis, which is the most common one that we see. So I bet that's what you're on.
Thank you for that explanation here. Thank you for that question that came in through email. Questions like this are perfect for this show. Thank you so much. I see 606 Mal, what's up on Instagram? Zach Hill, what's up? Brandy C, what's going on? Thank you guys for hanging out with us over on Instagram. If you have a question for Doc, put in the comments and we'll be sure to get to that. Next one is, let's see here. We talked a little bit recently about, kind of what to add to a traditional lipid panel. Question is it the ApoB lab test that I should add to the traditional lipid panel? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely. We check the ApoB as well as the LP little a on the Cleveland, as well as the size of your HDL particles, size of your LDL particles. Yeah, I mean, ApoB is much more accurate than just doing an LDL C, which is what most doctors measure: total HDL C and LDL C. HDL good cholesterol, LDL's the bad cholesterol. It's kind of a term that's not the greatest, but in general. But the ApoB is really more accurate because it measures all the quote bad forms of cholesterol, all the, like, not only just the LDL particle, but also the intermediate sized particles, the chylomicrons. And there's one else that it checks one other particle, but think of ApoB as being a carrier of cholesterol, because cholesterol and water do not mix. So cholesterol to be transported has to have a lipoprotein. And so think of ApoB as like a taxi that carries all the kind of dangerous particles around in your bloodstream, and it can attach and get into cells through receptors. And the ApoB is really the most representative one that will cause plaque. So overall, the ApoB is, out of all the lipid measurements, that's probably the most important one. Even your HDL lipid theories kind of blowing apart a little bit. Again, we try to say the high HDL is a good thing, but it's almost really, it can be good and bad because it's almost like a U-shaped, on a U-shaped curve. It can be, it's usually better when it's higher, but if it's too high, it can be deleterious. And certainly if it's too low, it's deleterious. So lipidology is a very complex subject. It really goes kind of deep. Like I say, the triglycerides are really important too, as well as the one I was thinking of, the very low density lipoproteins, the chylomicrons, the intermediate density, and the triglycerides. So you have to, the ApoB kind of represents all those, and certainly something we measure, and we do things to bring it down if you have other risk factors, but it's not on a standard lab. You have to kind of ask for it, and hopefully your doctor knows what it is. The LDL or the LP little a is another one that we measure, which is more of a genetically determined bad form of LDL. So I hope that wasn't too complex a measurement, but yes, it's a very good test to get, very accurate as far as to what's happening with your lipids. And again, sometimes the ApoB will mirror what your LDL-C number is, but sometimes not. Sometimes you have a discordance, and you can have somebody with a totally normal LDL, but yet their ApoB will be really high, and that needs to come down because that's the danger one. The ApoB is the bad one. But it's a representative of several of them. These carriers, these sticky particles that can cause plaque in your arteries.
It's a great question. Again, part of what we want to do here is help you guys with how to approach your next doctor's visit and labs are a big part of that. So thank you, Doc, for that answer. Thank you for that question that came in through email. Real quick, because this kind of has to do with what we've been talking about the first half of the show. Can you elaborate? This is from Lisa. Thank you, Lisa, for kind of teeing this up for us. Can you elaborate on lisinopril? What is better? What do you not like about this one? I'm on it, so very interested. So this is super timely. Lisa's talking about, you mentioned you didn't love lisinopril.
It used to be kind of the go-to back when we first started doing it many, many years ago. It's called an ACE inhibitor. But the thing about it, some people that take lisinopril are extremely allergic to it. And they have this thing called angioedema after the first dose or two, and they end up in the emergency room getting intubated. It's almost like having an anaphylactic reaction on your face. And as a matter of fact, I talked to one of the anesthesiologists a month or two ago about how many times they'd been called to the emergency room to come in and save somebody's life that started taking lisinopril. The ER doc couldn't intubate them. There's so much edema. So I wouldn't want to take that chance. The other reason I don't like lisinopril is because it also has about a 30% cough rate, dry cough. When somebody comes into me with an unexplained dry cough that's been going on for months or years, I always ask them, are you taking a blood pressure medicine? And sometimes, yeah, I'm taking lisinopril. I've been on it for years. Well, stop it and let's put you on something better. The other reason is because we have the ARBs, the ARBs, angiotensin receptor blockers that are much better, much safer. So, and they also have that protective effect against diabetes effects on your liver, on your kidney. So people think all diabetics should have lisinopril. Really, they should have an ARB like losartan or one of those, or irbesartan, or there's several sartans. So I definitely think it's better. I don't think anybody that looks into it can kind of argue that now. Lisinopril is dirt cheap, but I just don't want to take the chance. I never start anybody on it anymore. I try to switch them over if I can.
Now, for those, including Lisa, it seems, who are on lisinopril, and after what you just said, may, you know, be interested in changing strategies here. What's kind of the thought process there? Is this
See your
something you can?
doctor. I mean, again, unless I am your doctor and treating you, talk to your doctor. These are switch me over. I
And
want to
you're
switch it.
saying
And they'll
what?
be glad to. They'll be glad to. Unless they've got some kind of bug up their butt and don't want to take advice from a patient or concerns from a patient, which you do find. I mean, like I've always told you, doctors get arrogant and, if your doctor won't listen to you, your concerns, and get a new doctor. Any doctor that, if you went in there on lisinopril, hey, I'm concerned about this, I want to switch to an ARB, and they say, I'm not doing it, then find a new doctor. You're not going to be able to work with that doctor for other things. That'd be a big red flag to me is, hey, I'm going to get a doctor that actually listens to me. So yeah, just talk to your doctor. They should be happy to do it. If they're not, find a
Red
new
flag.
doctor. Yeah.
There you go. I love that. Lisa, thank you. I hope that helps a little bit. We're going to get back to questions that came in through email. This one is around the Tdap. Going out of the country soon, not sure when I last had a tetanus shot. Should I get it again just in case it has been over 10 years? And then it goes on to say, what if it were only 6 years, so it hasn't been 10 years? Would this be bad since it also contains the other two vaccines? Traditional doc here says get it, even though he knows I don't do everything he says. So let's get back to this first part here. What's your thoughts on this?
I'm not worried about it. I don't think you need to, especially if you got it 6 years ago. I mean, I've been practicing 38 years. I've never seen a case of tetanus or diphtheria. I used to see pertussis back when I saw a lot of kids. And, you hear, well, maybe it's coming back a little bit with adults, pertussis. But I don't, personally, I'm not going to get one. It's been over 10 years since I've had a tetanus shot. I'm not getting any more. Again, this is I'm telling you my opinion, and everybody makes their own decisions, and I don't know how old you are, but
what about going out of the country?
Yeah, you're fine. I mean, unless it's somehow required and you have to get it to go out of the country, fine. But if you're going out of the country, you come back with tetanus, I'll be shocked. Now, you do have to check with the health department like if you're going to Africa, you may need some, prophylactic vaccines, yellow fever, typhoid, some of those. You're going to have to get them. And you should probably also take some malaria prophylaxis if you're going to some of those countries, which is a pill. But I wouldn't freak out about it at all. You're paranoid about it. You can certainly do it, and again, you're probably not going to have a problem with it. But I just don't see that the need for it, to be honest with you, unless there's some kind of warning which country you're going to. You can't get in without having a current DPT, then you can. But if it was me, I probably wouldn't. I'm just a little leery.
That's a great question.
Especially after I read that book, Vaccinated, Unvaccinated. That's a great book by Dr. Hooker.
Who did the interview?
Yeah.
With the Children's Health Defense.
Again, I'm not really an anti-vaxxer, but the more I learn about some of these vaccines, the less eager I am to go get vaccinated with all this different stuff. So do your own research, and that's kind of my take on it.
All right. Thank you for that question. Let's real quick. I want to put this up from from Lisa, but in regards to the lisinopril, because this is super helpful from Lisa here. I did switch to Irbesartan. Am I saying that right?
Mhm.
Uh, Irbesartan for a while, but it didn't seem to control my blood pressure as well as lisinopril. So it seems like the lisinopril is just working better for Lisa there. So
Yeah.
thank you, Lisa, for putting this up.
Yeah, one thing I found out about the ARBs like Irbesartan, losartan, you have to work their dose up a little bit higher than the starting dose. Because they're milder, they have less side effects. Now, if you're a diabetic and totally the ARBs don't work for you and you've had no problem with lisinopril,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with it. I mean, sometimes you don't want to change a winning game plan. So that's possible.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple people like that. You could also switch to something else if you wanted. Like a lot of them tend to have a lot of side effects too, whether it be diuretic like HCTZ, which I totally don't like because it inflames your arteries, depletes your minerals. You could go to a calcium channel blocker like amlodipine, but it can cause side effects at higher doses too. So then you could get on a beta blocker, depending on your cardiac status. But sometimes they can make you tired as well. So maybe look at the dose of Irbesartan, or, again, if you're doing great and not, your blood pressures are fantastic, you may be diabetic or pre-diabetic and need either an ACE or an ARB, then, don't worry about it if you're not coughing or anything. And you probably, if you've been on it, you're not going to get the angioedema. That's the new starts.
Yeah.
But so, take that for what it's worth. So, I'm glad you certainly expounded on that a little bit.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for that. Great context there. And that's so true. Like, don't change a winning game plan. If something's really working for you, no matter what, we're saying up here, if it's working, there's no need to change anything.
When I play pickleball, if my drop shot's working, I stay with it. If my drop shot's not working, I'm hitting the net, then I'll start doing power shots. So kind of, you always change a losing game plan, but if you're winning, don't change it.
Well, one thing I know, since I've played with you a couple times, I've never seen your drop shot work. So I'd tell you to make a change. To make a change.
You haven't been with me when it works. Sometimes it does work. Usually playing against older players, though. You're on the younger side. You're a great tennis player, so maybe against you it doesn't work. But against some of my older folks that I play with, they can't get to my drop shots, especially if I angle them off. They can't get it. Then I'll lob it over their head if they do rush up to the net and try to get it. They should be at the net anyway, but then if I just pop it over their heads, they can't backpedal. They're too old. They can't. They're going to tear something. So.
Well, I'll be looking out for this. I haven't seen it work yet, but hey, if it's working when I'm not there, keep doing it.
It works for the old folks. It works for the old folks, Ben.
Guys, we are taking live health and wellness questions tonight, and apparently some pickleball questions as well. If you guys have a question for Doc, go ahead and put it in the comments. We're going to get to as many possible here over the next 20, 30 minutes. Let's see where we're at. Let's go ahead and get to
They call a drop shot a dink in pickleball too. Not a drop shot. It's called a dink.
And I think maybe Andy Carter's already answered this. It's tough for me to tell in my dashboard, but we'll go ahead and talk about it because I know you're probably not the only one who's dealt with this before. I was prescribed BHRT. I was afraid to take it. Is it okay to go ahead and use? It's been 6 months. Does it go bad? And I think it's the cream is what I'm seeing.
Yeah. I don't know what Carter said, but number one, don't be afraid to take it. I mean, these hormones are fine. They're safe. They are not going to cause cancer or heart disease. They'll protect you against it. But yeah, I would go ahead and even if the expiration date's a little late on it, you've got a month's worth, use it. I mean, it may lose a little bit of its potency. It may, but still it's not going to hurt you. If it was me, I would. Again, I'm the common sense doctor. I'm not going to be so strict that say no. If it's expired in May, in March of 2024, don't take it. No, go ahead and take it. That's save your money, use that up, and then get your refill next month.
Andy, Margaret, I hope that helps. Thank you for putting that in there. Let's see here where we're at. Gosh, great questions are coming in tonight. Thank you guys so much. If you guys have a question, go ahead and put in the comments. I'll do my best to not lose my place like I just did. Let's see. Real quick, let's do this. Let's talk about the methylene blue. I think this might have been answered around the I want to learn how to take methylene blue. There are different strategies. There's tablets as well as the drops. So for Sandy here, how would you kind of initially coach somebody to start off taking methylene blue?
Well, and going through and being using it for a while personally and with a ton of patients and getting feedback and going to conferences, listening to lectures and everything, we were probably underdosing it at first. It's very safe. Even if you're taking an SSRI, which don't work in the first place, it's safe to take. But generally, I tell people you can take it once or twice a day. Most people take it once a day. They take it about 11 o'clock in the morning. In talking to a lot of people and experimenting with myself, that's what I do. And I take 16 drops in a glass of water at 11 o'clock in the morning. And I take it with a vitamin C. If you get the pills, the vitamin C is in there. But I do the drops just because I titrate it and it's cheaper and I like it. I like that blue tongue that I get with it. But if I travel, I take the pills. But yeah, and if you don't feel any better, more energy, better breathing, I mean, there's so many different benefits of it, then I'll go up to 32 drops once a day, which is 16 milligrams. It's a half milligram per meal. So I think Andy does 32 drops a day. It'll definitely give you energy. The thing I like about methylene blue, which there's so many things I love about it, it's just it gives you energy. It gives you focus and quick. I mean, you don't have to take it for a month like you do some of these peptides, a month or two. You can notice it within a day or two that you're feeling better. At least I can. If you don't, then you need to go up on the dose. You could even go way higher than that. If you're taking it, if you're giving it to an Alzheimer's patient, I would go way higher than that.
I'm going to put this up from Carter in regards to the tablets. This is, it says take 2, but we recommend starting at taking 1 to start out and staying at that dose. Thank you, Carter, for putting that in there. I think that's for the tablets. The tablet form, I think it's called NeuroPro. Is a tablet form of the methylene blue.
You don't take it at night because it really focuses you and wakes you up. It may interfere with your sleep if you took it, late afternoon or nighttime.
Thank you, Carter, for putting that in there. And thank you for that question, Sandy. Hope that helps a little bit. Let's get to Ruth. How are you liking your Urolithin A?
Yeah, it's MitoPure.
Yeah,
that's a substance that I started taking. I haven't really noticed a ton yet. I take it on an empty stomach in the morning, and I'm the kind of person who I'm conservative. So it says take 2. I'm just taking 1. I don't know. I haven't noticed a dramatic difference in it. So stay tuned.
How long you been on
we'll
it?
See. A month, over a month probably. Look up, it's Mitogen, MitoPure. I think it has a couple, but that's the active ingredient in it. It's really supposed to promote longevity, energy, and things like that. There may be, and it's expensive. I think it's about $100 a bottle. So it's an expensive thing to take. I think the main promoter of that supplement's Elon Musk's mom.
Really?
And yeah, so he probably loaned her the money to buy it. I bet he can probably afford it.
Great question there.
Thank you for
Ruth.
asking that.
Thank you, Ruth. We'll keep you. It seems like we'll keep you posted on that to see if Doc.
No dramatic differences yet. So,
real quick over on YouTube for Jay Jenkins, and I know Jay Jenkins has another question I'll get to in just a second. But since this is timely with the methylene blue, do you need the special blood test to take low dose methylene blue?
No.
Thank you for that, Jay Jenkins. I hope
Not
that
that I know
helps a
about.
little bit. Let's get to Bianca. Bianca's asking, what is the ApoB called on my Cleveland heart panel? I don't see it on mine. I only see lipoprotein A. So this is on a Cleveland.
Yeah, it should be on there. Sometimes because of insurances, they won't run it. Again, it's a Quest lab and they file it. So for some reason, sometimes when they'll actually look at your when they send it in, the insurance company will actually not let them run a couple of the tests. I see that sometimes with the two genetic tests we run on that too, the MTHFR and the ApoE. But the ApoB is on most of them. Certainly, if it isn't, we can do it special. It's not an expensive test if you drew it separately. But I always check it off on all my Clevelands. It's right beside the LP little a. If they did that, and if for some reason they didn't do it or your insurance won't pay for it, Quest has really good cash prices on most of their labs, so you can certainly get it done. And that is an important one. To me, it's the most important measure on the lipid panel. So double check it and make sure it's not right beside your LP little a, which I hope they did. Maybe they did for some reason. But if they didn't, we could certainly order you one up. So check it and let me know.
Bianca, let me know. You can shoot me an email or let us know here in the comments, and we'll do whatever we need to do to make sure we get that ApoB on there. Let's get to let's see, where am I at? Where was Lisa? I saw Lisa. There we go. Lisa's asking, Dr. Rogers, with this big amount of weight loss, my hair is suffering terribly, which is not good for women. Please help me. What can I take or use that will make my hair grow back in and thicken it up? I take finasteride 20 milligrams in half for about a year now and is doing nothing. Of course, I want results yesterday. What can you pull out of your little black doctor's bag for me? I love this question. Lisa, you're not alone in this.
That's a high dose of finasteride. You sure you're taking finasteride 20? Hopefully it's 2 milligrams. You don't need 20 of finasteride. Usually it's 1 milligram that I take, and 20, it's probably not taking 20. But certainly, the two things that I've seen, especially in women, that cause a lot of hair loss, besides maybe having a suboptimal thyroid or a low ferritin level, iron level, have been COVID and rapid weight loss. Those are two things. But with women, it's usually we can get it growing back. One thing is to look at the hormones. Again, hair loves estrogen. It's not real fond of testosterone. That's why you're taking finasteride to block down the dihydrotestosterone that can cause enlarged prostates and hair loss. But hopefully, we do have that hair vitamin that has Anugain in it. We call it Happy Healthy Hair. It's got the, all the other stuff in it too, like the B vitamins that help. And let's see, what else are we recommending? Of course, minoxidil. Hopefully you're taking minoxidil orally. That's Rogaine. I find it works a lot better orally than it does putting the cream or or foam on your hair. Nobody likes to do that anyway. So the triple play is going to be the Happy Healthy Hair, low dose finasteride, and minoxidil.
Mm.
There's also shampoos that help. God, I'm trying to remember.
Ontogeny C.
Ontogeny C. Yeah, that's the one that we like with that. Also, a couple times a week, wash your hair with a dandruff shampoo. I think that helps clear out the pores a little bit. Collagen supplements, you definitely need some collagen. And this tricks up my sleeve to make your hair thicken up a little bit. Look at your hormones for sure. You really ought to get a Cleveland panel and see where you are on all the vitamins. I like vitamin E, tocotrienols. I think they help too. I like omegas.
Trying to remember what Andy was talking about a few weeks ago when he was on the show. Talked a little bit about his hair regimen, which is really working well for him. So I'll try and pull that clip at some point, because
you can also use red light therapy. I think that works pretty good. You can get a laser red light helmet. A lot of people really swear by those. As a woman, you should be able to get your hair back thicker. There's a way. Be patient though.
Lisa, thank you so much for that. Thank you for that question. Keep us posted on where that's at. We're going to keep following you. I'm going to get to, let's get to Steve and Shield Nutraceuticals. I have moderate plaque levels in my arteries. I've been looking into best dietary solutions to lower it. I read that there is a soft plaque which can dislodge and cause blockage, but through diet and supplements, it can be converted into the harder, more stable form of plaque. There were 5 things that were suggested for lowering plaque. They are pycnogenol, Go2 Cola, K2, nattokinase, nattokinase, and niacin, and type that may cause flushing. What are your thoughts on this stack?
I like it. I certainly take pycnogenol. When my calcium scoring went from 0 to 92, in a 10-year period, I'm getting a little bit of plaque in there. Again, that's hard plaque. The soft plaque, you're right, is the one that is dangerous. And really, when you get a CT calcium score, you're not sure if that calcium is inside or outside the artery. So it's a good test to do, but it's not foolproof. But for the soft plaque, to evaluate that, I usually like to get a carotid IMT. I'm sure you've probably had one. They come up from Atlanta a couple of times a year and do them in our office. And it will identify soft plaque and kind of measure that innermost lining of your arterial walls in your carotids, which is a direct representation of what's going on in your coronary arteries as well. So, yeah, I mean, the one you're right, the go-to is pycnogenol. Nattokinase is a kind of a natural blood thinner. K2 is what makes the vitamin D work. It's very cardioprotective. The cola, I haven't taken that. I don't know a whole lot about that one. Niacin's an interesting compound. There's recent news about niacin causing heart disease. I don't believe it. And certainly, we use it a lot of times to lower cholesterol. And certainly, I'm a believer in niacin, vitamin B3, and it has a lot of subtype spinoffs like niacinamide, which is the non-flushing type of niacin, which will not lower your cholesterol, but it does have some longevity effects. Think of nicotinamide riboside and NMR. They're both forms of vitamin B3. And if you do take the niacin, because it flushes everybody, you'll get the over-the-counter 500 milligrams of it, and you'll take one pill and think you need to go to the emergency room. You're having anaphylaxis. You're not. But the way I do it is start out with 100 milligrams at night with your 81 milligram aspirin, and every 4 nights work your way up by another 100 milligrams. and until you get to a gram. Sometimes we go to 2 grams, depending on what we're looking to do. But certainly, all those are beneficial, especially the pycnogenol. The other thing, of course, EDTA is I put myself immediately on the chelator EDTA orally. That's the substance a lot of people go get IV chelation, which is very expensive, time consuming, and really illegal in the state of Tennessee for some reason. But a lot of times in other states, you'll see the cardiologists lined up for their IV chelation. They don't want anybody to know they're doing it. But so I take a daily EDTA, which I have in all my offices to, lower that plaque burden a little bit. It depends on, again, I don't freak out about a calcium scoring unless it's 400. 300, I'll start noting it. But certainly, anything under 300, I don't really freak out about it at all. Sometimes, I had a lady today that had totally, I noticed a new patient, she'd had a bypass operation and totally asymptomatic, but got a calcium scoring, which must have been over 3,000. So she goes to get it worked up, totally asymptomatic, but with a strong family history of heart disease. And she ended up having, blockage in all 4. So that calcium scoring saved her life. I've seen that many times. So, but yeah, take your baby aspirin, and those other supplements will help. Don't be anxious to go out and get another CT calcium in a year or two. You need to wait really 5 years or more before. Some people say 10 years before you check the progress of it. But you could, if you're really worried or have a lot of risk factors, you certainly could do a CT angiogram or do a thallium treadmill. But do those things like you're doing. I think that's a pretty good stack, Steve. So,
Steve, thank you for putting that in there. I know that's it's a common question, and one of those concerns around the plaque as we get older. So thank you for putting that in there. I'm going to real quickly get to see Valerie's question. I apologize, Valerie, for skipping you there. I lost this one. Question is, my doctor prescribed thyroid medicine for me and my TSH is 4.6. My T3 and T4 were normal. I thought meds were only prescribed if the TSH was over 10. When do you prescribe meds? So this is a thyroid question. What's your thoughts on this, Doc?
Yeah, it's a great question. First of all, I don't care about the numbers as much as I care about the symptoms. And again, normal may not be optimal, usually isn't. Certainly a TSH of 4.6 is high, meaning your thyroid's probably underactive, but hopefully you had the most important one, and again, if Margot is listening, she's our expert in thyroid, but is a free T3. But if I'm really wanting to flesh it out, I'll get a reverse T3, I'll get TPO, really do a little bit more testing. And one important point, as long as we were talking about cholesterol earlier with berberine helping and all that, if you have a really high cholesterol, I've seen this several times, say out of the blue, your cholesterol all of a sudden is 300, you better look at your thyroid, because if your thyroid's low, then it falsely elevates your cholesterol. And when you get treated for your thyroid, your cholesterol returns to normal without doing anything. I've seen that several times. So always check your thyroid. As Margot will tell you, that's so important, especially for women, that we see much more thyroid disease in them than men. But certainly, you probably have at least a hypoactive thyroid. So some people that are thyroid experts, they don't even go by labs at all. They just go by your body temperature. Another great way to know if you have a suboptimal thyroid is to take your body temperature, not around when you're ovulating. If you're ovulatory, take it away from ovulation, because that falsely elevates your temperature a little bit. But you can even do it the week of the period if you're having periods. But before you get out of bed, take your basal body temperature. And if it's lower than 97 on average, you've got a low thyroid. I don't care what your labs show, and you should be treated. Again, and I like to know why somebody has a low thyroid. Is it Hashimoto's? Is it a nutritional deficiency like selenium or zinc or maybe iodine? So certainly in the symptoms of a low thyroid, this is important, are weight gain, fatigue, brain fog, lower body temperature, cold hands and feet, constipation, fluid retention, thinning hair, brittle nails, loss of the lateral third of your eyebrow. I can tell on TV who has a low thyroid by looking at their face. And also remember, your thyroid correlates, it interacts a lot with your cortisol and your insulin levels. So they all kind of work together. They talk to each other minute by minute. So you have to really balance all of them. But so, maybe see if you have those symptoms. And, I certainly prefer the desiccated thyroid medication over the synthetic. I think I switched 2 women today off of levothyroxine onto Armour. Well, I like it a whole lot better. So you definitely need to look into that, especially if you're symptomatic. And again, if you're not, just follow it. Maybe get the more fleshed out lab test and just follow it and see. Because you certainly want, if I'm just looking at TSH, which I don't just look at the TSH, but certainly if I'm trying to regulate your thyroid, I would like your TSH to be about 1. There's such a big range of normal that it doesn't mean a lot. And why some doctors are hesitant to treat, a suboptimal thyroid, I don't know, because normal may not mean anything. I see that all the time with low testosterone. They won't, if it's low, if it's 300, then normal's 300 to 1,000. A lot of doctors won't treat if you're at 305, and you're having all the symptoms in the world. That's just stupidity in my, you need to be treated for it. But anyway, so look into it further, see what symptoms you have, get treatment. You probably do have an underactive thyroid.
Valerie, thanks for putting that in there. That's such a great question. And again, thyroid's one of the, I think I've heard you say thyroid and testosterone are some of the 2 most, misdiagnosed things that you're seeing is the thyroid and low testosterone. So thank you so much for putting that in there. Let's keep going here. I want to get to as many as possible. Jay Jenkins is asking, can you take berberine long term? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think you can. That's one that I take personally. I like it. Again, when you take any medicines, and I qualify this as a medicine, it works. Just have your blood checked every once in a while, and certainly, if you're on other medications that could lower your blood pressure or sugars too much, then monitor it. But I know some people say take breaks from it. I really don't see a huge need to do that personally.
Jay Jenkins, thank you so much over on YouTube. We're going to keep moving here. Let's get to Heather's question on Facebook. Do you all routinely check for MTHFR gene for patients who experience recurrent pregnancy loss or infertility? My colleagues think I'm crazy with all my genetic testing and supplement use, but I am seeing a trend. How about you guys? Rob and Carl, we got some of the team in here. What's your thoughts on this, Don?
Yeah, you're not crazy at all. I mean, that's definitely one of the first things you would check on is your MTHFR gene for people who have miscarriages, infertility. And again, Robin's the expert on infertility. If you need somebody to talk to about that, she's amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's very important. Anybody with, especially if you have 2 gene mutations on there, then you're way more susceptible to miscarriages. And there can be some other reasons for miscarriages as well. It needs to be fleshed out and looked at. You need to look at your homocysteine level. You need to look at all your inflammatory markers. So yeah, something's going on, and you can certainly because a lot of people have mutations on that MTHFR gene. I've got 2 of the bad ones myself, and I treat it. I treat my high homocysteine level with methylated B vitamins, trimethylglycine. And I certainly take an 81 milligram aspirin because I'm a little bit more predisposed to blood clots than somebody who didn't have that 677 TT double mutation. So, but yeah, look at all that stuff. You're not crazy. Genetic testing is a big thing. You're not crazy at all. You're smart.
Heather, thank you so much for putting that in there. We're going to keep going to, I think, Jana. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Jana. Jana is asking, does compounded topical progesterone for a woman increase risk of blood clots?
No.
There we go.
Flat out,
Jana, I hope that helps.
No. Well, one reason, if you use the cream, I even trust oral progesterone, bioidentical progesterone, not medroxyprogesterone, but it's really one of the few forms of oral hormones that I like to use orally. Most of them I use creams or pellets, because remember, when you use a cream or a pellet, it bypasses the liver. So you don't have to worry about affecting your clotting factors. So my answer is no.
Thank you for that question, Jana. We're going to put this up here from Betsy Jones. Betsy's asking, I have all those thyroid symptoms that you just mentioned, Doc, except the 1/3 of my eyebrows. My TSH always comes back normal. What should Betsy kind of be looking at here?
I mean, normal, like I said, normal means nothing. You need to be treated, but check, flesh it out with the more expanded thyroid panel. Try to find out why. But yeah, I don't know what your TSH, but normal doesn't mean a lot. I mean, if it's 4, it's normal. It needs to be about 1.5, 1, somewhere in there.
Thank you for that, Betsy. I hope that helps. I missed this from Sandy. I hope Sandy's still with us. What is L-citrulline? Any kind of short explanation for L-citrulline?
Yeah, well, it's an amino acid. It's one of the ones that increases nitric oxide along with L-arginine. So it's pretty helpful. A lot of people take it for many different reasons. Some guys take it for ED, but it's just a nitric oxide agonist. Amino acid, you can get it over the counter.
Sandy, thank you for that. I hope I'm sorry I missed you there early. Hope that helps a little bit. Guys, what a show. Real quick, I'm going to do a quick plug. Most of the vitamins we talked about tonight, you can find at performancemedicine.net/shop. You will make us the happiest people in the world if we get an order every once in a while over on the online store. We love it. We love doing it. We're expanding that online store literally as we speak. So if the super vitamin, happy, healthy hair, I believe Berberine Max was mentioned, all are on the online e-commerce store, performancemedicine.net/shop. Thank you guys for letting us talk about that. Yes, Katie, that's exactly right. Look at that. See, listen to Katie here. Shop our vitamin store, friends. Come on, guys.
Ben, are you taking happy, healthy hair? Your hair looks like it's growing like crazy. Maybe it's because you don't have a hat on tonight. But your hair is thick. It's not as thick as Andy's, but it is thick.
I'm not on happy, healthy hair, but I know my brother is. And he's a huge advocate for it. And you know what? Ike may be an advocate for a happy, healthy hair.
Look at this hair he has. I mean, he's got the thickest coat of hair. I love his hair. He is so huggable. This
Guys,
hair, you love on him when you're up here. His hair is great, isn't it?
I love.
Do you like Izzy's or Ike's hair better? Would you say?
Honestly, I like cuddling with Ike. I think
his hair is softer than Izzy.
Soft.
I'm sorry,
but Izzy's coat's so beautiful.
Yeah, well, let's take a vote here. Well, I hate to vote on. It's like voting on your kids. Which one's your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, come on, they're both amazing.
Fran's the only one I know who has a favorite. Of her kids.
Is this Izzy right here?
That's Izzy right here. She's definitely cute.
There's Izzy. She's adorable. She's happy to see you.
Yeah, she definitely gives me more affection, you know.
Thank you, Grandma Mary. I'm not wearing a hat because of you. I decided to let the hair flow. Hey, guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you so much for asking these wonderful questions. For those of you who don't know, we do this every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. We'll be here every week. So if I missed you somehow, I apologize. We'll be back next week as always. Like we have up there, if you guys are interested in any of the vitamins, check out performancemedicine.net/shop. And I want to thank our team. We had Carter in here, Katie, Margot was in here. I'm sure tons of others were in here and I just didn't see them come through. Kay Rose, thank you. Thank you. Sherry, thank you. You guys are the best. Izzy, thank you. Doc, we ready to roll?
Ready to roll.
That means
Play Dark Side of the Moon. Roll it out with Dark Side of the Moon since we had the eclipse yesterday, which we didn't get to see.
We're going to roll it out with my man, Brad. It is about that time for me. I'm about to take my digest shield and get some dinner. We love you. Doc, I love you, man. Thank you for the show tonight. To all of our team, we love you. Everybody who's in here, thank you guys so much for making this show amazing. We'll be back next week at 7. Ike, I love you, brother. Where's my outro? Where's my outro?
Don't go away.